Give a thumbs up when it's over. Welcome, everybody, to a very loud theme song.
Yeah, there we go, baby. Get that theme song pumping out there.
We bring you episode 91. Scott is joining us from the Red Light District.
Damn right.
BV's coming from Chicago. I'm your co-host, Steve Market, always joined by...
Charles is here in one of these squares.
Yeah, it's like
Hollywood
weird
Squares.
Hollywood Squares, celebrity edition, but we're not celebrities. Wait,
We're local Facebook celebrities. How dare you?
Yeah, local. They're really desperate for celebrities. Of course, this week we're going to give a little Corona update on what Scott's doing as a teacher in real estate, and then we'll give little updates on people we know, and then of course
number one Papaw.
Papaw.
Papaw updates.
We got some.
Dang it.
Got some TV and movies, and then that weird ass Wrestlemania me and Bill are going to cover.
I gotta tell you, I screwed that up. I didn't watch that. I'm kind of annoyed. That I wish
you didn't screw anything up at all.
Oh, I can't wait to hear about it. Can I watch a
replay? You
replay?
didn't lose 3 hours like we did.
Oh, dude,
yeah. There's replays. They have it all over the network.
Cool.
So if you
WrestleMania.
Yeah, Scott misses it all. The wrestling.
Yeah, I missed the WrestleMania.
We got to do our tradition.
Well, he misses
BV.
the high school. Oh yeah, everyone got their sanitizer.
Yeah,
out.
you got hand sanitizer.
And
All right, get that. Bergeron has none. He doesn't care. Just use the lotion that you got next to your computer, Bergeron.
I will.
All right. So as Scott been wanting to know, I did talk to our 83-year-old grandfather this week, Papaw himself.
Yeah.
And he's doing good. He's up and running, and he's been in his house for 2 months, just him and the dogs. He does go once every other week to Myers. He goes to Myers with a face mask and rubber gloves to get him some food.
See, why 2 months?
He started early.
I don't know. That's what he told me.
He's been locking down since 2020.
Yeah, well, he does have a theory how this happened. Did I tell you the theory,
I bet you it's racist as could be, but okay, go for it.
He said North Korea is in on it with China. And remember when they were doing their missile testing?
They were shooting the virus everywhere?
They were shooting the virus up into
space. Okay.
Up into the atmosphere. So that's his theory.
BV doesn't subscribe to that theory. BV's like, yeah.
Sounds like a plausible theory to me.
Yeah. He's doing all right. He does have 2 bad teeth, though, and he's waiting for it to clear up so he can go to the dentist. Yeah, he's in pain from that. But
that's the thing right now. Like, you can't get a hospital. I tell my daughter she's learning how to roller skate. I'm like, did you fall? We got to, tape you up. That's all we can do right now.
Yeah, that's all you can. I mean, it's like the Mrs. Bergeron school of, taking care of injuries and pain and stuff.
Yeah.
Just take a nap. You'll be fine. Wake up.
Take a nap.
Some Tylenol and a nap.
Yeah. You never heard that story, Steve?
No. What story is it?
So when I was 19 or 20, I had a thing called, I didn't know at the time, it's called supraventricular tachycardia.
Jesus.
Makes your heart rate jump to about 220, okay?
Oh.
My mom said, yeah, just go lay down, you'll be fine. So I woke up and it was racing again. The doctor goes, yeah, no, we got to do some surgery or something like that. We can't mess around.
Wow. You've had heart surgery in your life?
Yeah, but not like that. Not like heart disease surgery. Like it's an extra electrical charge in your heart. So.
Wow. That's great.
Yeah.
I remember that. I do remember when you had a heart attack. I didn't know your mom told you to take a nap.
This wasn't a heart attack, you weirdo.
No, he said heart thing. He said heart thing.
I said heart thing, not heart
What
attack.
age were you when you got this? What age were you?
The heart attack's coming in 4 or 5
yeah.
You were 20? Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah. Hey, so is there a Mr. Henson update? That's what I'd like to see.
Yeah.
No, he's at home checking his stocks. That's what he's been doing for 2 weeks. That's all. But
Mr. Steve.
There is an update on one of the friends of the podcast, the caveman himself, Tyler Elkins. He might have a little bit of the corona from his mom.
Yeah.
So, but I did text him. He said he's getting better and he's on the mend. But ironic that his brother didn't get it because they live in the same house. But just he got it. But he said he's feeling better, so that's good for him.
Yeah. So I texted with him this morning. Actually, it was funny you say that. Wow. He said 8 days he's had something going on. About 8 days, he's just kind of doing fluids and doing the best he can. Wow.
Yeah. So.
I mean, that's the thing with this thing is that you just kind of some people just got to wait it out.
Yeah. Hope. Now, speaking of waiting out, my wife's feeling better. She's doing good. But the one thing nice, she works for the state, and they gave her 80 hours of pay outside of the 2 weeks she's off. They're paying for it. And it doesn't come out of her vacation time, so that's pretty cool. We're one of the lucky ones that still got that. So, and also,
you have it?
No, if she had it,
He's like, I'm not sure.
I'm not sure. She had a temperature for 3 days. It's gone down. She's had some headaches and no trouble breathing. No, the breathing's been fine, but she's just been feeling really tired. So she's been laying around a lot. And I keep hearing there's different symptoms from this all the time. Because she's a health worker, they don't want to test her. They just told her to monitor herself. So if it got really bad, we would have went in and had a test. But she's feeling better now, so I'm not going to worry about it.
Well, good. That's good. That's good.
So, and also with the state of Michigan, and this is going to affect Scott, they officially announced no more school the rest of the year. So how are they doing that for you in your district, Scott? What do you have to do?
So a couple things. One, it's real important because think about it this way. Mental health-wise, not just kids, but whole families being locked down for long periods of time is not good, right? So they asked us we started last week making sure we touch base with the families, at least every family once, call them to the phone. I'm going to have set up a Zoom classroom probably and do some things, but it's hard, guys. It's the one good thing that will come from this thing is that people will use technology virtually way more now. They just will. There'll be way easier ways to educate kids from afar. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
also think, though, that the entire world has enough technology to be able. I think we're making assumptions with a lot of this that because most of us have caught up with technology and we have the equipment, that every household has the necessary equipment to do that sort of thing, and I'm sure that's still not the case.
Yeah.
Well, so BB, here's the only hard part that doesn't fit with what you're saying. Is most of these kids have fancy dancy phones, okay?
Fancy dancy? Is that what they ask for when they go to the store?
More expensive than my first car.
Bergeron was made in the 50s. I think.
So
newfangled phones.
Well, and so here's the other part of it. So like I use Google Classroom every day in normal class, and you can get there right on your phone. That's not hard. And other things I would agree with you on. Yeah, sure, but you can do those kind of things through Google Classroom. It's pretty easy.
I think they need to start providing like Chromebooks. Like, so in other words, like a Bernie Sanders type thing, you need to start saying school age kids need to get issued not high-end technology, but technology that will allow them to access Bergeron's online curriculum. You know what I mean? Like, I think that needs to happen.
So let me put it like this. So in the two school districts I've been in, they had what they're called one-to-ones, okay? So we had Chromebooks in D7, and we have Chromebooks in Lincoln Park now too, 1-to-1. So pretty much everyone has one. Here's the hard part: is you take that Chromebook home with you every day, and it breaks.
Yep.
Now 100 break. Well, not. I mean, like, so there's your costs that kind of get thrown in the mix there. You know what I mean?
I get you, but I just think that is a periphery issue. Most kids probably don't even need it. I think that you guys, and I'm not saying you guys isn't where you teach at. I'm talking about just educators and districts as a whole need to have these resources to issue to these kids. And I also think that they need to wrap into, like, so the cell phone networks need to be required to allow those devices to work on their cellular network. So in other words, if you can prove an educator-based Chromebook should be allowed to work on the T-Mobile G5 network, that's, you know what I mean? Like, that should be part of, like, the legislation going forward that, you know, allows these, it's got to happen. Like, at some point, because the problem can be, and we talked about it last week, this lockdown can end, but we could be seeing this for, like, a few months in the winter coming up. We could be seeing it next spring. These rolling lockdowns could be happening permanently, you know?
Well, so the only time you're going to get free of this thing is like you said, like they were talking about, that's why they held off for so long, I think, with ending the school year, is because they're like, oh, we'll go back in late May or something like that. Well, it can keep only time you're going to be safe is when they have a vaccine, a curative, and a preventative. That's it.
Yeah.
That's the only time.
Yeah.
The one thing that I thought was weird, and I put this in the notes, and I'm sure you could echo this, Bergeron, the school districts are super crazy about making sure you don't leave the kids alone for spring break. They're really psychotic about, like, don't post it. Like, Heather, I'm sure you read that edict too, Bergeron. Like, leave these kids alone for what was supposed to be their week of spring break. So like,
because you're trying to provide normalcy. Right?
I get you. It's crazy to me to see, because like my daughter's district, for example, has been in touch with us multiple times. Heather, an educator in a different district than you are, had a big edict read to her, like, leave the kids alone. And like you said, they're trying to give this impression of like, here's where we would have been normally, and how do we get to that time? It's kind of crazy.
Yeah, but think about it. I mean, that's kind of what we're all grasping at too. Is normal? Is trying to find some normalcy in this thing, right? Yeah. I mean, like people. I've seen this a bazillion times now on different social media. Well, what day is it today? Like today is Sunday. Yeah. It feels like frickin' every other day.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah.
You know. Yeah.
So in this portion of the podcast, Charles likes to give us all the great numbers we have on this coronavirus to make us all so happy.
I like to bring this up every week because, again, I like factual stuff. I don't watch Fox News. I don't watch CNN. I don't watch any of that stuff because it's crazy. I go to that Michigan website and pull up the numbers. So at this point, as of today, we had 6,096 cases and 223 on the deaths. So that's 1 out of 288 people for cases. If you look from our last week number, so just last Sunday to this, we went from 1 out of every 969 down to 288. If that doesn't indicative of like how the spread is happening, I mean, it's getting real. The other thing too, the deaths have crazily dropped as well. So it's 1 out of 7,856, down from 47,405. So like almost a 6 times jump in deaths related to coronavirus. It's pretty crazy to actually look at the numbers and see that spread. And to Bergeron's point, they're claiming it's only going to get worse, and it's super scary, you know?
Oh, and it's just, I mean, of course, how long can this go on for, right? That's what you got to ask yourself, is if this thing goes 2-3 more months or something, I mean, people are going to go nuts. You want to see scary, wait till it's been 2 months like this, 3 months like this. I mean, now Papa's been locked down for a couple months. I mean, you know.
Yeah. The other thing, too, and I'll just keep rolling along, someone at my hotel got diagnosed with the Rona, and they had to call us. It's a whole thing. So I actually know since last Sunday, I just found out Brandon, one of my old friends from the old hotel, called. One of our old coworkers passed away from complications with coronavirus, which is pretty crazy. And then a guy I currently work with got diagnosed with it. And it was crazy to see the hotel's super worried about people not showing up for work, because now it's actually becoming a reality in this building. It's kind of, they've called.
Well, but so how much vacancy do you guys have? I mean, how much?
We're running about 20 to 25% is what we're typically seeing, but we're a little bit of an anomaly in the industry. I know of another hotel that's running it like single digits amount of rooms and stuff like that. I know several hotels that have already closed down. So it's crazy out there, but I say lucky enough, but we're, I guess, different enough that we're staying open.
This podcast brought to you by Brandon.
I was going to say the king
sorry.
just showed up.
I didn't blurt it out.
No, it's just funny. But no, it's just it's one of those things.
I wanted to mention something. Somebody that was watching through a watch party echo and said that Bill Gates is funding labs for the top 7 potential vaccines right now.
Yeah. But the problem is with the vaccines is 12 to 18 months, and that's the biggest thing with it. So from the spring to spring, we aren't going to see anything viable until next spring at the earliest. So basically, stay away from people.
Henry Ford Hospital is, I heard, I'm not sure if this is a fact or not, I heard that's where they're starting the first trials on it too, on one of the vaccines or something. So
I don't know.
So it's local. So
and
that's good.
The other thing I brought up, and Bergeron already touched on it, so a Surgeon General named Jerome Adams that came out talked about how this week is supposed to be brutal. So we're all going to hit our peaks as far as infection rate and all that kind of stuff. All the models that they've tried to triangulate are hitting this week. So if you can avoid it this week, stay home, definitely hunker down and try to stay out of the public as much as you can. Those of us who are essential workers don't have much of a choice, but you definitely, it sounds like it's really going to hit its peak as far as infection rates and people who are impacted by this disease and this virus is coming up. The other thing that happened this past week, and I brought it up a week ago, I have a lot of frustration on the information with the masks. I know the three of us kind of talked about it last week. Now it came out that even the White House is saying if you go out in public, you're supposed to wear a mask. The only rub with that is you can't find the shit. Like, So you waited until, way late into it when all the crazy people have bought all the stuff, and now it's like, well, hey, wear a mask. And now they're basically saying healthy people just wrap a scarf around your face, essentially. I don't know. I got frustration with a lot of that stuff is kind of where I come from. BV, you think anything with that?
Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, the thing is, too, is that the N95 masks, you couldn't get those before the pandemic really hit hard in the U.S. We talked last week about my wife being kind of out in front of this, and she was, kind of getting supplies in, a few weeks before it actually hit here. She was searching for N95s almost, probably 3 weeks before it arrived. You already couldn't get that.
It already dried up at that point? Yeah.
Yeah, they were selling out really quickly. And so as a result, we have, I think, maybe 2 or 3 masks in the house and nothing else.
Yeah.
I don't know about, I've been out for a couple small things. I go to, I've gone to drugstores to get prescriptions and I have to take my dog to the vet. But I haven't been in any sort of an environment where I've been tested as far as having anyone close enough to me that I'd have concerns. But, I don't know. I guess we do whatever we have wrong. I'm kind of just not going out very much anymore. So,
Steve, are you rocking masks at your house at all?
No, I just use maxi pads across my face.
Okay.
Well,
They got those
Preferably used.
Oh, wow.
but in fairness, he was doing that before the virus.
Yeah, it's fashionable.
Yeah, I don't know. Bergeron, you doing the mask thing? What are you doing?
Just trying to stay away from people.
You putting a thong on his head to the same thing.
Well, I tell you, and again, it's hard to discern what information is real and what's not. Lady that's a nurse in direct contact with this stuff put out something I saw on Facebook. Again, it's social media related stuff, that the actual N95 mask is 97% effective, but like these homemade things are like 20% effective.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. But what they're saying is you're supposed to so as we're all separated up, if we were in the same room, I could have it, BV might not, but when I'm talking to BV, I just got to make sure my juices don't hit BV because the virus is in the juice. So I don't know. It's crazy.
And often when you talk to Bill, you do swap juices with him.
Yeah, it's
I
tough.
was just going to say something.
It's really tough.
That's the word you use, juices, really?
I'm hard to resist that way. What can I say?
Yes,
Hey, really quickly, to your point earlier, Scott, about people going crazy. I know that most people probably won't be like this. I'm getting ready to start week 4 of being at home. I'm working full time from home.
Yeah.
And I'm
I still
actually
haven't caught up with Papa.
well, yeah, but the fact that I'm working, I think, has made it where I'm hitting a rhythm.
Oh, yeah?
So it's actually becoming easier for me to deal with than it was the first couple of weeks were really nuts, and now I'm sort of settling in, and I'm a little bit better with it than I was early on.
So, Bill, let me ask you this question. Do you think that's another, and again, I'm trying to look at the rosy side of things. Do you think that's more of a benefit that people will be more acclimated, more able to work from home here forward, or what?
I sure hope so. I know. Well, no. At BP, actually, we were working towards a policy called free addressing, and they were planning on implementing it. They had just started a couple pilots, and we're planning on over the next few years, where you basically don't. I mean, they took us out of offices, so we're now all open plan. But across the company, they were going to this plan where they were going to have a certain number of workstations that would be sort of universal for a group. Kind of first come, first serve. You wouldn't have a dedicated desk. But this is already making them rethink that. Think, well, can we really do this? I think it's going to change the way. I think it's going to change corporations' ideas about having FaceTime or the necessity for FaceTime, and I think it's also going to have companies rethinking some of these other approaches.
Every time we do Burger King,
Pulls out like a 44-ounce BK Diet Coke.
And that looks like a throwback cup from the 70s. I haven't seen a Burger King cup with the whole full Burger King thing written on in big
we're
letters.
not doing that
side.
much bringing dishes here.
It's got an old wax cup he had for years.
Scott has a time machine. Didn't tell anybody.
He got a
That's right.
free Star Wars cup and a Burger
only
King.
He ran the
uses
virus
it
by going back to the 1970s to get a Whopper.
That's right. You saw Endgame. That's exactly what I'm doing.
Oh man, we're all idiots. On the usual round the room. One last depression thing. Where's everyone at? I'm still at a 5. BV, where are you at? 1 to 10. How you feeling?
Yeah, I've been at like earlier. I think I was a little higher, closer to 7. I came down to 6. I think I'm coming back down a little bit.
You got your rhythm to your point. Yeah.
Yeah, and the county that I'm in still has a relatively low number of cases. So, I mean, I'm kind of looking at it from the standpoint that as long as I'm careful, I'm in a better place than I thought I was. So, I think I'm down to about a 5 and starting to trend downward.
Cool. BV or Steve, rather. I'm sorry. Where are you at?
I will say this disease doesn't like fat people. Michelle, I say that because one of Michelle's coworkers, the nurses there, she's a chubby woman. She got put on a ventilator, had to be arrested.
Damn.
They had to jolt her heart to get her back alive because she was dying.
Whoa.
She's good now, but so it doesn't like fat people. So I'm a little nervous, but I probably still at a 5. Oh well.
And Bergeron, give me that big Bergeron score.
Well, okay, so I would say probably about a 4 or 5. And here's why. Like last weekend, I went down at the downward spiral things. So I made a list Sunday night of 100 things to do this week. I probably did 80 of them. So I'm just like loading myself with stuff to do constantly.
You're just busy. If I'm busy, I'm not checking Facebook. I'm not checking the news. I'm not watching CNN. I'm busy. Is that your move?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are you still out showing houses and stuff, or?
No, last Monday, not this past, but the Monday before, they locked us down. We can't at all.
Oh, okay.
So like even the multi-list service that we use, they locked it out, so you can't even schedule stuff, which is the right thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Well, see, why can't you just like sit in the driveway, let the young couple look through the house?
Well, okay, Steve, because there's a couple of things. They put their hands all over everything.
Yeah, it's contact, right? Yeah.
Right, yeah. So, I mean,
Surfaces.
I agree. Like I said, vacant homes, I'm like, well, why can't we do vacant homes? Well, again, they don't want anybody out doing anything, you know?
And that's definitely not an essential service. You don't need a home upgrade while you're supposed to be locked down in your old home.
Well, the only
And are you going to have someone sanitize
is,
the house every time someone sees it?
Is like I got people that are like, let me give you a couple of examples. So they sold their house and they're occupying after the sale. Well, they got to find a home because they're going to run out of time. You know, it's. I talked to another agent yesterday, and I kept going, look, man, have you ever been through the coronavirus? Then you got to give me some slack on this thing because this isn't normal. Because the guy's like, well, they have this many. No. Really, I can't do anything, you know?
Yeah. Everything's kind of stalled, you know? It's kind of hard.
Well, because it's unprecedented. Like, Charles, nobody has been alive has been through this.
Yeah, it's not a roadmap. There's no roadmap for it. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right.
Enough of this depressing shit. Let's go back to our usual stupidity. Well, actually, most people are probably watching some of the stuff we watch, and because there really ain't much to pick from these days. But we're gonna go through some reviews from TV. Bill got to watch what we were talking about last week that we didn't get to see this time.
That Steve was wrong about.
I wasn't wrong about it.
Yes, you were.
Oh, you were all the way wrong.
He's telling you, Steve, you're the minority.
I said I liked it, but I didn't think it was that great. It needed to be cut down some.
What are we talking about?
Well, let's just start with that, Bill, since we've already gone there. Bill, why don't you give us your opinion on Tiger King?
Okay. Well, it turned out you were 100% wrong.
Thank you.
To be honest with you, I think the last episode might have been the least entertaining of the whole series.
The third episode was the least entertaining.
I've only watched episode 5.
But they went through.
No, okay.
Okay. I mean, for the most part, it got more interesting the further it went into it, because each episode it would dig into deeper into one or two aspects of the bigger story, and then you see it all kind of come together. It's just, I mean, the only thing I didn't, and maybe it's because some of this hasn't played out yet. The only thing I was disappointed by was that you really only got to see at the end. You only get to see Joe's fate. You don't get to see what eventually will or has or may happen to the others, because it seemed like there were a lot of loose ends that haven't been tied up in the broader story. But oh my God, that was just phenomenal television. And I know that it may be set up to have you to make a bigger point about the treatment of animals or whatever. But just from a pure trash-tastic television standpoint, it gets no better.
I fought it like my sister was saying to watch it. Oh, everybody I know was saying to watch. My son and his girlfriend were watching. So I got to watch this. After about the first 30 minutes, you're like this. You're staring at it. Like,
Dude, this happened somewhere in the same country I live in. That's what I'm saying. It's crazy.
Can't stop. It's the craziest group of characters you've ever saw in your life.
It's so nuts.
Like, I'm not going to say for spoiler for people, in 5, when the big thing happens, you go, did that just happen?
Dude,
You're like amazed.
Dude, I just thought, for me, if I'm going to play Steve for a moment, Steve's wrong on the whole total review, but the one thing I'll say is negative. The Carol Baskin episode was a little long. And you all knew she fed her husband to the tiger. I needed like a 5-minute episode. I'm like,
does anyone have any doubt at all?
Dude, what are we talking about, right?
But at the very beginning, like the very, very beginning, you kind of feel, at the very beginning, you feel sorry for her. You're like, oh, this lady's protecting the animals. And then they flip it around. You're like,
it's a
oh
huge
my God.
business. Yeah, she's super suspect, dude. It's crazy.
It's like, are you kidding?
What I thought was so crazy about the show, they don't really, like, the animals are a weird backdrop, like BV's describing. Like, you feel bad for these animals, yet somehow, like, they managed to put them on the back burner of this crazy white trash drama. It's crazy.
Well, and then it's like, and then all the ancillary people, you got like 7,000 people doing this.
It's
like,
so
this
crazy.
This guy over
I
here,
was hooked
this
once.
Guy does it on Vegas buses.
Once that chick got her arm bit off, I was hooked. I was like, this is the craziest shit I've ever seen. They're eating the leftover Walmart meat and stuff. It's just, and then the one chick, the Carol Baskin chick, doesn't even pay her employees. She oddly gets them to volunteer. I'm like, this is great, dude. Oh, Steve,
that whole program from Apprentice.
Go ahead.
Oh no, that whole program from Apprentice to Master.
Dude, with the colored shirts, dude.
5 years.
It's crazy.
And it's like, and she does. He's right. She does the same exact thing he does.
Yeah.
She charges people to come.
The
and
only
look.
thing she doesn't do is she doesn't let them touch the Cubs. Yep, that's the only thing.
That's it.
And to play devil's advocate in her arena though, what you and I, all three of us who like the show, Steve can just sit here. Once those Cubs grow up, he's killing those tigers because like he said, it's just a meal. It's another mouth to feed. You know he's offing those Cubs, dude. You just know it. I think everyone's on the same page too. $2,000 for a Cub tiger. Who knew you could buy a damn tiger for $2,000? Crazy.
So do we know where Joe Exotic got his money to start out with?
They never really explained that. It sounded like he started out small and then just found an opportunity. Is what it sounded like to me. I don't know.
Yeah, it's just like
So
you couldn't make. I mean, it takes reality TV way over.
Dude, it's unbelievable. It's a bummer that he's in jail almost because you just need more content.
Yeah, no kidding.
Dude, it's great. God, it's great.
He's like,
all I know is that is a fucking 10.
Dude, it's so good.
Phenomenal.
Midweek, BV was chiming in like, dude, I can't get enough of this. I'm telling you. Anyway, so Steve, you watch something else. What do you got going on?
Varsity Blues there.
Yeah.
Now, I don't know if any of you watch this one, but I watched the Ozarks with Jason Bateman. Does anybody watch that show besides me?
Kind of like a knockoff Breaking Bad. Heather kind of tried to get into it the first season. He's kind of a money laundering accountant kind of thing. Is that what?
Yeah, for a drug cartel
in like the Mexico. Carolinas or something like that. He's where it's set.
Missouri. Ozarks are in Missouri. Yeah. Yep. He's originally in Chicago. Then the first 2 seasons, everything that happened to him wasn't their fault. You know, his business partner betrayed him and stuff like that. But the problem with this 3rd season is all the drama that happens to him this season is kind of self-induced. Like his wife is trying to get bigger, buy more casinos, stuff like that. So a lot of the drama is kind of self-induced, but it's still a good season. I like the show. If you're jonesing for Breaking Bad, this is a pretty popular one on Netflix as well. It's called The Ozarks with Jason Bateman. I can't remember his wife or the actress is, but I highly suggest you check it out. It's probably an 8 out of 10. I like them.
Can you just jump in though, Steve? Should you invest from the beginning all the way to the season 3, or you gotta see?
Yeah, you gotta start at 1 because if you jump in at 3, you'll be lost.
So if we're calling Breaking Bad like a 10, what would you give this show? You know what I mean? Like how would you?
So far, an 8 probably.
Oh wow, okay.
It's a pretty solid.
How many seasons have you watched? How many seasons are there?
There's only 3, and they're about 10 episodes a season.
This just came out, right? The season 3 just came out, right?
Yeah, it just came out. Michelle and I watched it pretty much all last week is what we were watching. So, yeah, I liked it.
How does this season stack up to the other two? Do you think this is like if
the
you were
first two? I guess the first two seasons were a little better because like it was circumstances that they didn't make themselves. It was just bad shit happening, and they had to adjust to it. Where this season, like I said, they're trying to expand and try to buy casinos and stuff like that, and that brings more drama from what they're doing. So they're kind of self-induced drama. Okay. But other than that, it's a good show though. It's a really good show. I like Jason Bateman. He's got that like dry, plain kind of personality through it. He's a whiz with numbers and stuff. So, and he's really good at hiding money and washing money. So,
Jason Bateman's a totally likable dude. I like Jason Bateman a lot. Yeah. Totally agree. Yeah.
It is a little weird seeing him in all drama instead of everything I've ever seen him in was comedy.
Instead of nothing funny, there's no funniness to it.
No, there's no funny. It's Breaking Bad.
Like you're waiting for him to say something. Oh my, like what's Horrible Bosses or something like that?
Yeah. He's not like that at all. He's totally dry.
Another one he's straight in is that Outsider show on HBO. Yeah, I haven't watched that, but he's straight as an arrow on that one too.
Yeah, so Ozarks is good. Tiger King, highly recommended by BV. Now the other one, for all you families out there that are stuck together and didn't get a chance to go to the theaters to see it, Disney Plus put the new Pixar movie Onward on Disney Plus. It came on Friday.
Actually, my daughter Tom Holland, right? Isn't that who's in this guy?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Chris Pratt and Tom Holland, and Julie Louis-Dreyfus plays their mom. It's essentially like back in the day. It was like fantasy, like elves and orcs and goblins and all that. Well, they became like us. Instead of magic, they had technology. So they kind of left magic in the dust, and now they just use like us, like everyday normal stuff. And so their father died of cancer, and they have a magical spell to bring the father back one time for one day, and they go on an adventure to get the thing they need to bring the father back. And it's a story about brothers and being there for each other. I mean, it's not bad.
Is it? But I guess my question is, and it seems to me like it's not worthy of that Pixar kind of. Like some of those Pixar movies are some of the most memorable movies, especially kids' movies that are ever made. I've heard nothing but kind of lukewarm on this, regardless of the Corona stuff. It's very lukewarm.
Yeah, this is a lower tier Pixar.
Yeah.
Your upper tier is what? The movie Up, Inside Out,
Toy Story.
Toy Story. The first Incredibles. This is more
Toy Stories, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is more down with like Brave and
what's the dinosaur one that they did? Yeah,
it's definitely better than Good Dinosaur.
Yeah.
I did not care for Good Dinosaur. But I mean, it's good. Here's the thing, though. Would I have paid $20 when it was video on demand for it? Hell no. It's not worth $20. Is it worth the watch on Disney Plus that you already paid $6 a month for? Yes, of course. I wouldn't buy a copy of it, but it's worth the watch, especially if you're at home, the Corona time or whatever.
Time.
Got that Corona time.
You got nothing to do with the family. I highly suggest it. I know everyone's probably going to crack through everything on Netflix. So eventually there's going to be other...
Does it get a Steve 6? Is that what it gets or no?
No, I give it a 7. I thought it was... Yeah, it was
dude, that's high praise from Steve.
Yeah, that's right. It's way up there, way up.
Steve throws you an extra point, you take it, son.
That's right. So now, of course, all that family time got annoying, so I had to go play video games.
Get out of my room.
No kid.
And their new download for Mortal Kombat. I covered Joker before. Spawn came out for Mortal Kombat. I like these fighting games. Some people do, some people don't. Spawn kind of fits in perfectly with Mortal Kombat because he's from hell and all this stuff. And they animated his cape, Charles, which is pretty cool.
Okay,
like
there you go.
I thought they do the cheap one where they take the cape off, but no, he's got the big flowing cape while you fight. Cool. He's got some cool fatalities. So if anyone gets a chance out there,
what did you pay for that DLC? What did you pay? Is it part of the pass? You got that pass?
It was a part of the pass. It was $25 I paid last year for it, and they released like one fighter about once every other month for the past year. And he's the last one in the pack, though.
I gotta tell you, I think that video games right now, I think that streaming is definitely smart, and they're throwing everything out there and just getting people.
Yeah.
Video games are kind of dry right now, which is crazy to me. Yeah, it doesn't make any sense because like there's a bunch of people who aren't into TV that would love some video game content.
That need something. That need it. That need it now, right?
You're talking to one.
Yeah, you're like, dude, where's the games, right? You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, that's like everything. Like Sirius Radio, you get 90 days free of that right now. You know what I mean? Like you throw into the kitchen sink at people.
Yeah.
And Howard's broadcasting from his bedroom.
Is he really? Yeah,
Yeah,
cool.
he is.
Yes. So I thought that was funny. Now, Bill, help me out on this one. I know you saw it.
I did
this
too.
is on YouTube.
Yeah.
It's on Vice TV. We all saw it. Scott, I highly recommend it if you haven't seen it. It's Dark Side of the Ring. It's a documentary about Chris Benoit and his down. Yeah, so Bill, take it away on this one. You watched it.
Okay, yeah. It was first 2 episodes of the new season, going in depth on the Benoit tragedy. Actually, a big portion of it was more a story about Benoit and Eddie Guerrero's friendship and the devastating effect that his death had on Benoit.
Can I stop you there for a minute, BB? Did Guerrero die of a heart attack with this? They glossed over that a little bit. I'd say too much.
But they hinted that steroids and drugs weakened his heart. That's why he had that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's what happens.
And from what I remember, there really wasn't a whole lot of dispute that's kind of what put him in that position. But there was some question as to whether he had gotten back on the drugs. The claim is he was clean and sober when it happened. But so that's.
Oh, yeah. So
that's all we got.
So Eddie Guerrero dies, and then Chris Benoit becomes just the most.
Falls off the
dude
rails.
ever.
It seems.
Yeah,
It's kind of what they
I had no idea he was that depressed over Eddie Guerrero dying. I mean, he really went into a depression. So much so he had a journal where he was writing. He was writing to Eddie Guerrero every day in his journal even after his death.
Well, so I mean, you got to assume some of these guys are friends, yeah.
Dude,
yeah.
They were more than friends. I mean,
because they're out each other all the time.
They were like kindred spirits, like attached.
Yeah.
It was crazy. Yeah. I don't think I knew that relationship going into it. It's pretty crazy.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought they were just. I mean, you're friends and stuff. Your friend dies, you're bummed, but he was like devastated. According to his wife, in the documentary and stuff, his whole mannerisms, everything changed once he died.
Let me ask a question here, as I'm surrounded by some pretty big wrestling fans in UMBV. So Benoit, he got with this chick called the Woman. I don't remember her. I remember Kevin Sullivan for sure.
Well, you wouldn't. Well, so you wouldn't. She actually her biggest. Her biggest run in major wrestling was back with WCW. She was the manager for it was a team called Doom. I think Kevin Sullivan was involved with it. I'm trying to remember who the other people were.
So what's the time frame? What years are we talking here?
Oh, this would have been the late 80s, early 90s.
Yeah.
It would have been the last couple years before Benoit came to the WWE.
Okay.
I also.
And
sorry. Go ahead.
No. It's just that it's gotten far enough away from us. I think that it's hard to just remember the exact
details, kind of thing.
20-some years.
I think that.
Yeah.
You talk about something.
The cleaning music Steve used to use. You know.
I think I needed more exposition. One of the things that frustrated me in this documentary, excuse me, was they kind of like you didn't hear much about Benoit's previous family. You didn't hear much about it was kind of frustrating as someone who needed more facts and didn't. I needed just more information. Like they went too much into feeling and kind of like I'm like okay, like the first episode I needed more foundationally of like how like you said like all three of us are sitting here going like I didn't realize that him and Eddie Guerrero were so tight and all you know what I mean like they didn't. I feel like it went almost too fast. I don't know how else to describe it other than that, but it was kind of frustrating. I don't know if you guys felt the same way.
Was it parts to it, or was
There's
it
2 parts, but I almost felt like I needed a little more time.
Yeah, maybe like a 5-episode deal or something.
Yeah, it was, and then like I also thought was neat too was the WWE response. They didn't know initially all the facts, and then they did this like remembering Benoit thing, and then all of a sudden they just wiped him. I was like, whoa, that was super crazy.
The only thing I take away from this whole thing is Chavo Guerrero is the most manly dude ever to hold a dude in his arms while your like uncle dies in your arms.
Dude, that's crazy, dude.
Yeah. Chavo was the man. I used to rip on him all the time. I feel so bad now.
Dude, it was nuts.
That dude,
Jesus.
I feel so bad
And then
about
they brought in that expert at the end too that was kind of like he knew of like all these wrestlers that had these issues, and they didn't let him expound enough for me, and that was kind of frustrating too. Like he seemed like very knowledgeable of the Benoit thing, but he only spoke for like 20 seconds, and then it was like, oh, and then just kept it moving. It was kind of annoying. I had more issues with the fundamental documentary than I did the information in it. Is what I guess is what I'm trying to say.
If there's the only thing I could think of for why they didn't develop his earlier family more, other than the son, who was obviously involved later on, is that maybe they just thought that wasn't particularly relevant to the story they were trying to tell.
I guess.
I agree it would have been nice to have the whole thing.
Yeah.
I felt the one knock I had it was that it seemed to spend, I thought early on it was spending a little bit too much time, developing the friendship with him and Guerrero. Because it seemed like the story wasn't really so much about Benoit as it was about the two of them.
The relationship kind of thing, yeah.
Yeah, but then
Well, you think that's probably the
I felt
heartstrings
better
part
when
of
they put it together.
What'd
What
you say,
now?
Scott?
I think that's probably like the heartstrings part of it, like watching this guy have to go on after, his best friend, basically, kindred spirits passed on.
Yeah.
Well, and he was apparently one of those. Benoit was one of those guys that didn't get close to very many people.
Yeah.
And so was real quiet, kept to himself. And so apparently, he had his one real best friend, and that was about what he did for friends.
Yeah. The other thing they didn't talk about too, where was his other son? Like, so for 3 days they were dead in this house or whatever. Like they never, and then like they oddly
the other son was with the mom.
but they didn't illustrate that. It was incredibly frustrating to me. I was like, okay, well, and then like oddly, like the WWE turned their back on the other son in a weird way. I was frustrated.
Except for Chavo.
Yeah.
Chavo is the man.
And Jericho apparently too. Jericho came out like a really good
Jericho.
dude during it,
So when are the Fat Guys on Little Podcast going to do a documentary? Because that's what I want to watch.
Okay.
Oh, man.
When is that
I
going to
have to
come?
work on that.
Yeah.
Wow. If you guys get a chance, you might find the episode this week interesting. It's about the wrestler New Jack. He was mostly famous from ECW. He had a gangster character.
New Jack, no kidding.
Did legitimate dirt in the ring. He had been up on attempted murder for slicing a guy, legitimately slicing him a bunch of times in a match. Apparently stabbed another guy in a match, deliberately outside the like.
I gotta tell you. So Dave Havenstein tipped Heather off to tell me and you, Steve, about this series on Vice that we should start. I think it's one of those things I got to start setting up on a weekly because pro wrestling is just rife with amazing stories when you start going down that road.
In fairness, I didn't tell you about this the first season.
Yeah, your BV's right and Dave's right. We're way off base on it. We got to start catching up on it, I'd argue.
So Dark Side of the Ring, what do you give it, Charles?
The content was great. I was more frustrated. It's kind of like McMillions, that documentary show on HBO I went off on. It was sometimes there's an art to documentaries, I think, is what a lot of this stuff is showing me. And it just, I would give it like a less than even a Steve 6. I give it like a 4 based on like the storytelling frustrated me so bad.
So is it all?
I felt like
back like that.
What's that?
Is it all dated way back like that?
It's all day. I mean, it goes through the story, Bergeron. Like this is like early mid '90s. You know what I mean? Through into the 2000s. It just. I felt like I had to like Wikipedia way too much information afterwards. And a good documentary shouldn't force me. Yeah, and that's what annoyed me. BV, what'd you think?
I liked it more than that. Maybe more so because I didn't have as many pieces to fill in.
Yeah,
from the story. I'd give it a solid 7.
Yeah, I think with Bill, I think it's for wrestling fans that knew a lot of it already. That's probably why they didn't cover a lot of the basic stuff. So I give this 7 Chavo Guerreros out of 10.
And you know what's sad though, Steve? What's sad about what you just said is this story is so compelling. I feel like it transcends wrestling fans. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like, so if you got your storytelling to be a little better, I think that anyone could be like intrigued by this crazy story, and that's one of the things that frustrated me.
So we'll talk a little bit more about wrestling here in a minute. But Charles, you're going to tell us about a Netflix movie that says Ed Helms in it, right?
Dude,
this looks like a quarantine. Let's watch it on board movie.
Dude, okay.
Tell us about Kareem and Coffee.
So I love Ed Helms. I find him hilarious. He was great on the show The Office. He's been great in those Hangover movies.
Ed Helms is? You know who Ed Helms is, Scott?
Yeah. I watched the show, actually. I was waiting to hear what he had to say.
Oh, you watch? Oh,
okay,
my God.
Okay.
This is like this is a perfect Steve. This justifies Steve's anger towards Netflix movies. It is like, dude, if this movie got released in the theaters, you'd be so pissed if you gave anyone any money to go and watch it. It was that bad. It's got Taraji P. Henson and this little tubby black kid. He plays a bumbling cop who bumbles into, like, he's trying to get with Taraji P. Henson, whose son, and then they bumble into stuff, and then they bumble into bad cops, because there's always got to be bad cops. Dude, this is like a 2. I need an hour and 45 minutes of my life back. It is brutal.
I'm going to agree with Charles that, especially the parts that bothered me, was the 12-year-old kid was the big tough guy. Really?
It's so stupid.
Really?
So stupid, man.
Like,
this movie is so bad.
I mean, I teach this age, you know what I mean? And they swear amongst each other, but no kid is swearing at me as much as this kid was calling them all these names.
Yeah, dude.
Oh, wow. No, that's not happening.
And then Ed Helms is, like I said, like supposed to be like the bumbling, yet he has a heart of gold. Kind of, it's just
too many archetypes. Too many character archetypes.
Just stay away from this goddamn movie. That's what it boils down to.
Is there? I'm gonna ask both of you guys. Is there one scene you thought that was kind of funny?
No.
Is there at least one scene?
No, it's hard, Steve. It's
so
way
bad.
hard. Like, I mean,
I love Ed Helms, man. I really do. I thought that vacation movie that he did was, it had moments that made me kind of chuckle and stuff. This is an abortion, dude. Stay away from this
and then all
movie.
of a sudden, they always have this one. See, this is another thing in movies that drives me nuts. Is every woman kicks every guy's ass. I mean, just beats like the girl he's dating cracks him across the chops and beats up 2 thugs, and the lieutenant, the dirty cop girl beats the hell out of everybody.
Yeah.
Like, come on,
dude, it's bad.
So Charles went 2. What are you going, Scott?
I'm gonna go 1.
Wow.
Next time, please, if you're gonna put in the notes for me to I'm gonna watch it, tell me. This thing sucks,
dude. Oh my god! So that's a 3 out of 20 for those who.
So I hadn't heard of this, so I decided to pop it in on Google real quick to just take a look to see what the storyline was. First headline that pops up: Coffee and Kareem, a crime against comedy.
Dude,
So apparently they agree with you.
The best part of this is Club Venus on Michigan Avenue in Detroit pops up, and that's like the most positive thing I had about it. I go, I know where that's at.
It's all Metro Police, Detroit. It's just God, dude.
It took place in Michigan.
It took place in Detroit. Yeah, so they
filmed in Vancouver. Though.
Yeah,
like,
but they had like city shots.
Yeah. Shots.
Dude,
like,
Club
Venus, right on Michigan, right by 94. I know where it's at.
Oh, Steve's got headphone issues. I can see him back there scrambling. We're about to have some issues. Oh no,
that's right by my undergrad.
Yeah, dude, it's bad. But anyway, so I want to talk about wrestling. I messed up. I talked to you guys about it as we were kind of coming into this show. I need you guys to school me up. I'm definitely going to log into WWE Network. I'm going to watch a replay. I want to have a whole conversation with you guys next week. Tell me about Saturday Wrestlemania, please.
Let me go first, and I'm going to let Bill take over. The first thing I want to say is, going in, there's no crowd. We all know that. All right, fine. So you can make up with that with some good matches. And the matches were dog shit. I'm not even going to lie. So, Bill, what did you think?
For the most part, ditto. It was bad.
So, can I ask a question?
Yes.
Was there a whole moral thing about guys throwing each other around as the coronavirus is out there in the world? Was there any?
They didn't mention coronavirus or anything.
No, but what I'm saying is, like, every other sport is canceled, but WWE.
Well, the UFC is not backing down either. So.
No kidding.
Yeah. So it starts with Gronkowski. You're thinking, he's going to do something. He doesn't.
Hold on. Let me pause you for a moment. Is Gronkowski the host, Steve?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
So, well, he only comes out like the first 5 minutes, and then you see him for like 5 minutes more near the end. That's it. That's all you see.
Oh.
He comes out. He goes, "I know how to party, man." He brings out his friend who's a wrestler called Mojo. The guy is terrible, Mojo Wiley, and both of them are just like meatheads, and they're having a party. It's terrible. And then they start the first match off. It's a women's tag match, and it's like 20 minutes long, and it's the most boring tag match you've ever seen. Bill, do you disagree or agree with that?
Yeah, it was bad.
Did it feel stale, like pre-recorded and kind of stale at all, guys? What's like the?
Well, it is in fact pre-recorded.
Okay.
All of it.
Did it get like a staleness to it because of that, or did it pop a little more because they could edit it better? What's your guys' thought on that? What do you got?
I don't think they edited anything, to be honest with you. It's just like they recorded it and stuck it up there is what they did. There's one thing that was edited, and that's at the end. And Bill and I will talk about that. So Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross won the tag champs. Who cares? The match was terrible. So then they're going to follow it up with another stinker, which is King Corbin versus Elias. This Corbin guy's been wrestling for a while. He's like watching paint dry. He's boring as hell. Elias wins this one. Who cares? That one was terrible.
Is it long like that first match you described? Is it long?
Yeah, both of them are about 20 minutes each, wouldn't you say, Bill?
The Corbin Elias match, I don't think was quite that long, but it felt like it was long because it just wasn't entertaining.
Each match felt like it's 4 hours long.
So, Steve, can I ask you a question?
Yes, go ahead.
So I've been disconnected from wrestling for a long time now. Like, is there anything on this card that you were like before it happened? You're like, I can't wait to see this.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, well,
no.
That's what I mean. Like,
There's no match.
Nothing.
There's a general curiosity for, like, I wanted to see what Goldberg and Strowman were going to do. I wanted to see what the hell they were going to do with The Undertaker and AJ Styles. I am curious to see what Edge and Randy Orton are doing tonight. Same thing with John Cena and I'm curious about all of it. Just this first part was like filler matches, I think. So then the big girl, the one they're promoting called The Man, you've probably seen her, Charles. She's got red hair. Becky Lynch. She's the women's champion. They call her The Man.
That's her lame gimmick. Yeah, you talked
about
it before.
So, Steve, how was the Boneyard match? The crowd saying the Boneyard match was a good thing. Was that good?
Well, we'll get to that. That's coming up.
Steve, tickle, Steve.
But the first was Becky Lynch and Baszler. Now, Baszler's the former UFC girl. They've made her like a female Brock Lesnar. She's unstoppable. Spoiler alerts to anyone that's going to watch it. She lost.
So unstoppable.
They neutered any chance she had of having any kind of a real impact in the main roster.
Yeah, and she wasn't even unstoppable. The match was 50-50. It went back and forth, and both of them are submission wrestlers, so that's all they did the whole time was try to get a submission on. And then Becky Lynch got her in a small package or a roll-up or something and won. That was terrible. Then the next one, this is Sami Zayn versus Daniel Bryan. Charles, you know the Daniel Bryan guy. Yep. This was bad too, and Daniel Bryan's a good wrestler. Sami Zayn just ran around the ring like Bobby the Brain Heenan, trying to run away from him the whole time. Yeah, that's what he did for like 10 minutes. It was terrible. And then Sami Zayn pulled like one move out and won, so I didn't understand what they were going for there. Bill, any argument on that one? Or
no, it had a chance to be a good match, but he just did too much running away. There were bits and pieces that was good.
Yeah.
But not enough to say it was overall very good, I guess.
Now this next one, this one had moments. This was Kofi Kingston, Jimmy Uso, and John Morrison in a ladder match. Ladder matches are hard not to be entertaining, right? They're jumping off ladders, they're doing crazy stuff. And this match wasn't that bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. What'd you think, Bill?
I thought that it was probably the best match overall. But the thing is that you have a ladder match with no crowd whatsoever. So
yeah,
it just and part of the problem that I had with all this is you could hear every little groan, little bad, you could hear them calling spots, and it's not. Yeah, they shouldn't have had that kind of a match without a crowd, because the crowd amps that things up a lot. Those little kind of crazy high risk kind of stuff doesn't really play when no one's there to cheer over it.
Yeah. And then Rollins versus Owens. Kevin Owens is the tubby guy, but he can really wrestle. Rollins is the guy with the beard and the long hair. These guys are actually pretty good wrestlers, but this match, It had one thing in it. Kevin Owens went up on the sign of the WrestleMania sign and jumped off it. That was pretty cool. He was like 20 feet
elbow
in the
through the table.
Yes. I got to admit, that was pretty good, right, Bill? I mean,
yeah, that was the most entertaining thing of the entire. Other than, actually, the most entertaining thing at my house is I just got my sound bar set up, right? And Charles has made a point on a number of occasions how he likes how the WWE mics their ring.
Yeah, it's good.
So I ramped up the subwoofer.
Yeah.
So every time it got slammed, it just boom.
The house show.
It was more entertaining than the show. No, it's not that good of a sound bar, but it was still.
So the other thing that happened in WrestleMania that both Bill and I were kind of confused by is there's commercials. Like a lot of commercials.
Like Snickers commercial? Yeah, they love a Snickers
5
commercial.
Hour Energy, Honda.
Dude, they had to make up for the seats they didn't sell out.
I don't care. It's a pay-per-view. Why?
I mean, like, really?
Yeah,
Because
they got bills to pay.
I'm trying to count down the 5 greatest WWE commercials or something of so much. I don't know. But the rest of it, then you just have a random commercial like you would on any television show.
Yeah, it was terrible. And they weren't even promoting their own stuff. It was like I said, 5 Hour Energy and stuff. So then the worst match of the night happens, and this is Goldberg versus Braun Strowman.
Braun Strowman's a big boy, right? He's big.
Yeah. So I thought this might be interesting. I'll give it credit for being quick. It was only like a 5-minute match. And Scott, you know who Goldberg is.
Yes, I do. Yeah.
So he hits 4 spears in a row on Strowman right away.
The Rhino move? What the hell?
No.
And then Strowman just gets up like nothing ever happened to him. Like he was just eating a bowl of Cheerios.
Dude, it's like the AEW. They lost the impact, dude, is what you're saying?
Yeah. And then Strowman does 4 power slams, and it's over. That was it. That was the whole match. It was the biggest piece of crap. That sucked. Now, Scott, you got a friend named Billy Jackson, and he really liked the Boneyard match with The Undertaker.
Wait, hold on. I need to pause for a minute. So you're telling me big-ass Undertaker fought AJ Styles?
Yes.
I know Undertaker's 147 years old.
It wasn't like a match in a ring.
Oh.
It wasn't. Charles, did you like Walker, Texas Ranger? Let me ask you that question.
Was not a fan of it, but okay, I get where you're going.
I got 2 people saying the Boneyard match was awesome.
Oh, man.
Another guy saying it.
That people online loved this. It was a bad 90s sitcom, bad 90s action. So it was Undertaker versus AJ Styles. Basically, it's a buried alive. They got a graveyard. If you fall in it, you get buried.
I know that concept.
I don't know why they changed the name of it, but they did. And it was all cut and edited like a movie, but a bad movie with bad music and bad special effects. So at one point, Undertaker's in the grave, and then a flash of light comes on, and then he's standing behind AJ Styles, like superpowers.
Oh.
and then Undertaker's up on a roof, and he shoots fire out of his hands. It does
terrible. Sound like they did edit some stuff to your guys' point.
Yes, that's the one that
music,
got edited.
Like the music would change and play along with it as if it was actually a mini movie instead of a match. It took away any illusion that there was any match taking place live or otherwise.
So I want to hear Steve's description of AJ Styles' entrance. I want to hear your description alone.
What?
He came in a hearse. But you don't know it's him. It's got the Undertaker music playing, and 2 guys get out and pull the coffin out, and it's AJ Styles. He comes out, and then his music kicks in. So, okay, I don't know.
Let me ask a question here. Did they set this feud up for a while? Because I know Taker's got to be at WrestleMania and all this kind of stuff.
About a month, a couple of weeks, yeah. They've been doing interviews back and forth. The AJ Styles thing was he's old and out of touch, and AJ is kind of right, but that's beside the point.
You got American Badass Taker and not the old, not the one.
He showed up
in the biker gear.
It was a bad 90s action drama. I'm telling you, it was Walker, Texas Ranger with The Undertaker.
So let me ask
Steve.
Go ahead.
Go
ahead, Bergeron. You're good.
Say, in protest, will you never use the Undertaker music to clean again?
Dude, Bergeron loves that. he brings it up.
I haven't used it in a long time.
Dude. So my question to you guys is, pivoting away from the stellar Undertaker AJ Styles match, did WrestleMania, I feel like it would suffer lacking in pageantry. Did it really? Because like one of the things that makes WrestleMania so good is just like the over-the-topness of it. Did it really suffer without having that?
Yeah. Yeah, of course that was missing, but you knew going in it was going to be missing. The thing is, there's nothing else on. It's the only thing you can get kind of close to sporting event.
Yeah.
So in that aspect, I give them props for doing it. But at the same time, they probably should have postponed to June or July and then just did a real WrestleMania. I don't understand the point of this. They could have even done it in June or July at their performance center with a crowd.
Yeah.
So
a small
you don't
crowd
have
kinda, yeah.
Yeah, you got 10,000 people instead of 80,000 people. That would have been fine too. So in the poll and stuff, people online love this Boneyard match. I don't know why. Bill, what are your thoughts on the Boneyard match? I mean,
I thought it was a complete and total waste of time usage.
Yeah.
It was basically they made a short movie, instead of a match. I don't know. What this is, because I've been this has been going on for a while. So Scott, a little bit of background. So I've been disconnected from wrestling for a long time myself, and Steve decided it'd be a good idea to go to New Orleans and watch WrestleMania. So I ended up getting back.
Your goddamn idea.
Well, we talked about New Orleans, and you said, "Well, WrestleMania's there." So, I decided to get back into it enough to at least know what was going on.
Know what's going on.
Get pulled in, and it has been just miserable. Seriously, I'm like almost ashamed that I watch it, and I think this might be the beginning of the end for me. I think I'm about to I'm very, very seriously going to consider just after tonight, just cutting it off completely.
Oh yeah, I'm canceling the network after tonight.
Wow!
Are you really, Steve? What?
I do every year though. I re-sign up. I sign back up at Royal Rumble.
Now, but you don't watch some shit.
I signed back up at Royal Rumble, and then that's
problem is that's the only game in town at this point.
Yeah.
This is so much worse than what and we look back at it trying to see, well, hey, did the stuff we remember hold up? And it was so much better. It's a shell of what it was years ago.
Crazy.
So if it makes you feel better, Steve, I
Yeah.
watched the replay of Brock Lesnar in the NCAA Finals wrestling today for a little bit.
Yeah.
That makes you feel any better.
He was
That's
a beast
like
fan.
that.
I would have watched that. I didn't know that was on. That's kind of interesting.
Didn't one of the ESPNs just run like a big college wrestling marathon yesterday?
Yeah,
Today?
they've been doing that a lot. I mean, think about that's gotta suck. I know it's a segue a little bit, but to not have a national championship, that's gonna be terrible.
Your friend Billy Jackson asked, would Undertaker and AJ Styles in an empty arena been better? And I would argue no, but I would also argue that the WrestleMania should have just been postponed a couple months anyways. But
you just didn't want the event. You didn't want the event at all. Yeah.
And in all honesty, I wasn't dying to see Undertaker wrestle again because I saw him in the Saudi Arabia pay-per-view where he should have had a walker walking around the ring. So
how old is Taker, BV? What do you got? You got.
I want to say he's like 52.
Oof, that's long in the tooth for a pro wrestler. Man.
The thing, I'll look it up real quick. But the thing is that it seemed like they're burying AJ Styles. Oh, he's 55.
55, dude.
Like they're burying AJ Styles. AJ Styles is one of the best guys they have, and then they're just going to have him go. It seems like it kind of it weakens him.
Yeah, AJ Styles had to use 10 dudes to cheat, and he still lost.
No.
What was the point of that?
Now, is he like the up and coming guy or what?
Well, he's 38, so he ain't that up and coming.
Jesus.
Well, no, he's held one of their major championships in the last couple of years. In fact, he held
Intercontinental. Is it Intercontinental?
No, he held. They now split it by the different shows. So they have the WWE Heavyweight Champion, and now they have a Universal Champion. So he held the WWE Championship for like a year. I mean, he is one of their probably 5 top guys.
Yeah.
At least has been. Probably won't be going forward, but.
Well, the second part of WrestleMania is on the night after our glowing review of the first part.
Any to Bergeron's question, any highlights tonight that you feel like? Is there anything you're like, okay, I want to check this out?
Lesnar and Drew McIntyre should be a good match. It should be entertaining. The Edge and Randy Orton thing, I think, is pre-taped, and it takes place outside of the Performance Center. That should be good. I don't know about Fiend and John Cena. I mean, maybe this is John Cena's swan song, so we'll have to see much more of him after this.
So
but
do they typically do 2 parts or what?
No, this is the first with the splitting of the thing. So you're gonna get It's going to be 6 hours of WrestleMania. But then again, it's been 6 hours of WrestleMania. Remember that one year Charles actually sat through it. It lasts about 6 hours. So
we sat through 7 hours in the arena one time.
And you get to pay for it with Snickers commercials and 5 Hour Energy, apparently.
And the Hyundai
tonight
program.
at 7 o'clock, WWE Network. You can watch the second part. I mean, for $10, you can sign up for free, watch it, and then cancel the subscription. That's what Charles might actually do. So he can give us pointers on it next week. Maybe we'll bring our other wrestling fan in next week, Gabe Wigington. Let him explain what he thought about WrestleMania. Scott just had a hurricane over there.
Just took his
Scott's
pants
like, I'm done with this
off.
damn wrestling. All right. That's enough about wrestling. We'll cover some more next week, the second part of WrestleMania next week. Charles, I have his opinions on it all, too. So there we go. Now we're going to a couple reviews, something Bill and I did together. And before that, if anyone doesn't know, I've been talking on my new microphone. It's called the Blue. It's a Blue microphone. It's at you can get them at Best Buy. It's about $50. Not a bad microphone. How's my voice sound to you guys? It sound
Better
all
than it
right?
was last week, for sure.
Yeah, a lot better.
Talk about sexy to us, Steve.
No.
How's it interface? Is it
normal.
USB or what is it?
Yeah, it goes USB right into the computer. The only thing I don't like is the stand's a little low. I could buy an arm or something for it, but we'll see how it goes. But it's pretty nice. Big thumbs up. It gets good reviews on the webs. I got it at Best Buy. Best Buy is really up their shipping if anybody's buying from Best Buy. It takes only a day now. They're super quick on stuff because Amazon is prioritizing. I can't say that. Prioritizing its shipments. I butchered that again.
Enunciate.
So, yeah.
Prioritizing is the word.
Prioritizing. Thank you. Their shipments. So if you're just ordering stupidity like microphones and stuff, you're going to wait 3-4 days where more important shipments are going too. But Best Buy's not doing that. They don't care. You want the stuff, they'll ship it right to you. Now, over the weekend, Bill and I and Gabe did something pretty cool. And maybe next week, or not next week, but in a couple of weeks, if Scott or Charles wants to play too, we played an online poker tournament with a bunch of friends that we knew. And it was on Poker Stars. What did you think, Bill?
Well, yeah, it was pretty fun. I mean, I hadn't been on Poker Stars since, you could play for money. But, yeah, it was pretty cool. They have this thing called home games. Mm-hmm. So Gabe set up a private game. And then, get his, number of people together. You can set the game up the way you want to set it, and then have people join and play. It was pretty cool.
Yeah, we had 6 people playing. It was a lot of fun. And what we all did was we gave Gabe $20 through Venmo beforehand. There were 6 of us, and whoever won got the pot is what we did. So it was a lot of fun. It was a fun way for a Friday or Saturday night. So it's like Scott or Charles, maybe one day we'll do a Fat Guys poker game.
Can you do like video?
Well, it goes back to what we were talking about before, right? That you're going to find alternate ways to do things you normally would do, like maybe play cards, or if it's going to forcing you to do that stuff.
Yeah, and this is one of them. And what were we going to ask, Charles?
Can you do is it like how the old Uno was on like Xbox? Can you all do like video cams and kind of communally talk like we're doing right now, or?
You couldn't do video cams. What we did, we ended up Skype. We did a Skype group call. And we all just talked and played it.
I mean, we could have done video through the Skype and played the site, side by
separately.
side.
Yeah, I get you.
But if you're playing a game, I don't know that the video does a whole lot of good. There's a lot of benefit from it.
I see the poker faces, man. Come on.
Not even that. Back in the day on Uno, you'd see dudes doing like bumps of coke and stuff like that while they're playing Uno. It was crazy, dude. Yeah, it was nuts, dude. That was like
Uno were you playing?
Dude, it was crazy back in the day.
So maybe one day we'll all get together and have a poker game. We'll have Gabe set it up for us because he seems to already know how to do it.
Yeah,
but it was a lot of fun. It was about 3 hours. I finished 3rd out of 6. That's personal best for me.
Who were the 6 that were with you guys?
Bill, Gabe, myself, and then it was 3 of Gabe's friends. 2 of them were for a fantasy league, and then some guy from Ohio he knows. So cool. Everybody paid ahead of time, so there was no problems and stuff. So it was pretty good. And Charles, you bought something for your upstairs.
Yeah, so I'm addicted to Alexas, and here I brought my Alexa down here. So I've got a ton of Echoes and stuff like that in my house, and I upgraded the one in my office and then the one that I use for my alarm clock, which is a Spot. So for $90, I got like this, I don't know if it's hard to see on here, but I got like this 8-inch, it's like how those Nest homes are. Instead of buying like a regular Alexa at this point, I think for $90 you should get the video ones. Because like, so with this video one, you can actually answer your Skype calls and stuff like that. So like if BV or Steve did it to me last week, if you call my house, I linked my Skype account to my Alexas. So now I can actually answer Skype on my Alexas all throughout my house. It's kind of cool. So it's a pretty cool little piece of tech. And to me, they function just like a regular Echo, but they also have that video function attached to them. And I just thought I'd bring it up because, like I said, for $90, they're not that expensive. I mean, a regular Alexa is like $60. So for the extra $30-$40, you're better off getting the ones with the video baked into them. And this is an 8-inch screen. You can watch Hulu on it. You can do all kinds of stuff. It'll also, if you play like Pandora, it'll bring up like the album art and all that kind of stuff on them. I'm just a huge fan of them. I think they're really cool. And you know, Steve will tell you, every room in my house, I have an Alexa. Amazon and Jeff Bezos are spying on me left and right, but I don't care. I love it.
So, Charles, what's the coolest stuff Alexa will do for you?
Well, I've told you before, so like my whole house is integrated, so like I don't, in this coronavirus world, I can lock and turn off all my lights without having to touch light switches and all that kind of stuff. The other thing I do too is just having a young daughter. She can ask Alexa how to spell things and how to do random things like that.
Sure.
Like I said, the Skype integration's worth it. I can do drop-ins. So from my cell phone, I can drop into like the living room Alexa and start talking to Heather and all that kind of stuff. And I can't say enough good things about it. I just love Alexas. I know, again, privacy issues notwithstanding, I love them. It's the only way I listen to music now in my house. You can network them together. You can have your Pandora, your Spotify, or your Amazon Music accounts, and it'll play through them and stuff. I can't say enough good things about them. I just find them fantastic. I know Steve's got the Google interfaces at his house. I don't have much knowledge of how those work, but I love them.
Well, Scott's getting there. He's got his robots doing the floor.
Yeah, I can, and I told you
So
that
he's gonna get
before.
the light
Yeah.
bulbs and stuff.
Every morning, Steve, they start out, one starts in the office, one goes in the dining room, and then they both do the living room together. It's awesome every day.
Yeah, and the cool part is if you had an Alexa, you enable that iRobot skill. You can control them through your Alexas. If you're at home and your iRobots kick up and you're trying to watch a TV show or something, you don't want them to go at that point, you can tell them to stop cleaning and go home and all that kind of stuff right through the Alexas. It enables laziness. I love it. So anyway, yeah, big fan.
Interesting. It's just interesting, right? It's interesting what you can get machines to do now.
Super futuristic, dude. I just can't get enough of it. But yeah, those Echoes. So I had the Echo Show 8. I'm a big proponent of those Echo shows over the regular Echoes. So
anyway, how many do you have now?
I have one in every room of my house.
Even the shitter.
Yes.
Wow.
I have one in my bathroom. I have one in every, including
Alexa, flush.
Wow.
including my garage, including my basement. I have an Alexa in every room of my house.
Alexa,
So how
scrub
total that
balls.
up? How many?
I think the last check was 8. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought 2 was a lot here because sometimes it'll set both off at the same time.
Yeah, but they're smart too because they'll know if one answers over the other. And I'm a psycho when it comes to that. I want to live in.
That happens. They go, hey, he's talking to me.
No, they know that one picked up and the other one didn't. So like they'll let the other one take it and stuff like that. Like whatever one's reading you closer will do it.
Huh.
I want to live in the future. You know what I mean? Like I'm a crazy person. It's one of my huge hobbies, but
I only have 3 Googles.
You got 3, but that's pretty good. That covers most of your house, I would assume. Yeah. It's great, dude. It's great technology. Again, privacy issues notwithstanding, I'm not delusional to the privacy issues that exist. I'm sure some Jeff Bezos has me butt naked from my upstairs Alexa or whatever, but I don't care. I don't care. It is what it is, and I'm not worried about the future. I like the tech part of it 10 times more than I worry about the privacy concerns. So
that's probably why I'm holding out, because I don't want to hurt their eyes.
Dude, man.
That's the Fat Guy's documentary.
I was asked
to
disable the one in my office while I'm working.
You had to turn it off, is what you're saying?
They asked me to disable it while I'm working.
Wow.
Because they don't want any sort of sensitive company information getting into the
Wow! Holy crap, dude!
Yeah. I've got a spot that I ended up disconnecting.
Wow, the
here,
spots
so
are
I'm
great.
only running one at the moment.
Spots
Kind
are
of like
great.
Deepwater Horizon kind of stuff. You know what I mean?
Dude, that's pretty sketchy. It's pretty sketchy. But what BV's talking about, those are the perfect alarm clocks. So it's called an Echo Spot, and it looks like a little. In fact, I got one sitting right here.
Yeah, it's like a
ironically
little globe.
enough. Yeah, it's right here.
It looks like one of those Magic 8 balls.
Yeah, and this
one
is
I
the
have is
perfect
smaller
thing.
than that.
Oh, it is. It's perfect.
Mine's small and black.
Yeah, same thing. It just.
Yours looks like it has a white cover.
Said no one ever. Anyway.
Although, you have a white one. I don't.
Yeah, it's the same thing. It just looks a little bigger, because it's me. But
The one I have is about the size of a baseball.
yeah,
Why is yours white, Charles?
well, but yeah, these are cool too. They got a built-in camera, and they'll do the similar features as the shows too.
Oh,
yeah,
Bill pulled out his black
yeah.
one.
Look how much bigger mine is than BV's.
I know. I've got Alexa envy now.
Yeah.
Oh, Jesus.
But super cool tech, man. I don't want to derail, but that's a crazy story with BV. Again, there's a lot of privacy issues to something monitoring your house 24/7. But I'm okay with it.
Hey, can I throw something in related to that similar?
What you got?
Yeah, go ahead.
So, like Zoom, have you guys heard this thing about Zoom? That their security features are jacked up as far as people are coming into Zoom calls because it's a big thing now, right?
Yeah, Heather
And
had
just
it on
throwing
one of her
racial
classrooms.
slurs out and stuff, all
Yeah.
kinds of crazy stuff.
Yeah. Heather had a random stranger that jumped into her Google. So they did a big AP follow-up for her 2 classes with her other person in her English department and had a rando in their random Zoom class thing. And they were like, what do we do here? So Heather had to mute and bump her as the host. Yeah, it's real.
Yeah,
That's a
weird.
cool piece of tech, man. I tell you what, the one thing that and me and Steve kind of talked about as we have these growing pains, but I got this weird Skype layout today. Zoom does it right. I mean, Zoom's got a really cool interface. The way that they lay out the page is really nice. That's a good piece of tech, man. It's a shame that people
Could you
are
use it
assholes.
instead of this?
I could, but they have a time limit. So me, you, and BV and Steve will go rambling on for 2 hours. Zoom kills you at 40 minutes unless you're a subscriber, and I'm cheap. So here we are.
Yeah, I understand. I can understand. Yeah.
All right, so look at technology. Now let's go to what's left of a rapid fire segment. All right, so it's getting bare out there.
Much like the hotel, this list is just dwindling down every week.
But the video on demand is starting to come up. Now we covered that before. These are movies that should be at theater, but you can get them for $20 at home now. So the first on the list is Sonic the Hedgehog, which got great reviews from a lot of people. $19.99. You can get it on Vudu and Apple iTunes. I'm a big no. I'm not going to pay $20 for Sonic. Scott, what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, definitely not. There's no
Charles?
way.
$20 is too steep. If you give me the regular rental price, I probably in this lean content time would give you like a regular $5.99, $4.99 for it. But 20 is too steep for Sonic for me.
And Bill?
No.
I love TV.
He's still thinking about his Alexa envy over there.
Yeah.
Now this one I did see at theaters. It came out in January, but it's kind of weird that they're putting this on video on demand instead of going right to buying. But Bad Boys for Life with Martin Lawrence and Will Smith. I'm a big no because I already saw it at theaters. Scott?
So I watched part of it already, and I just couldn't get into it. I watched part of it. I'm like, oh, okay, forget it. I'll go to something else.
So you rented it?
Yeah, you can only I don't know. You can only watch that play over so many times.
What do you
paid the $20?
No, I think it was on Fire Stick or something like that.
Oh, jeez. Someone's got that
Oh, wow.
bootlegs.
Yeah, we'll be
Bootleg.
quiet on that one. All right,
Dude.
All right, Charles.
For
Alexa, turn on my
$20
Fire
and
Stick.
not through Bergeron's janky Fire Stick app, it's just like Sonic for me. I'd give you $4 or $5 to rent it right now. I'm not going to give you 20.
Yeah, and Bill?
I also saw it at the theater, so no. But
Yeah.
I would say to Scott, though, I don't know, how long did you give it? Because it did start really slow. It picked up.
I didn't give it really long, so maybe I could circle back to it because I gave it the first 5-10, and it just rehashed it over. I'm like, come on.
You got to give it at least a good 20, 25 minutes before it really gets starts to become an action flick.
Fair enough.
The Bad Boy movies are good, man. I don't know. I think it looked good. I do.
I liked it. So this next one I heard was a turd sandwich too. Doctor Doolittle with Robert Downey Jr. I'm gonna pass on this one, so I'm a no.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go there. No way.
I wouldn't give you $5 for this one either. I'm a no.
No.
Hey, look at Daisy.
He came in out of nowhere.
Yeah.
All right, so
You should have a baby cub on your lap.
Yeah, dude.
a
Ewok.
baby cub. Well, I just got a Snagglepuss. So next on Blu-ray, it's coming out. You can actually, I guess you could buy this at Myers or Best Buy online. The movie Cats is coming out on Blu-ray. I'm a big no on that one, Scott.
So even the previews it doesn't translate well to what they did. Like in a actual theater, like the theater, right? Maybe with live actors, okay, they had a great run. But this doesn't translate right. It just doesn't.
Steve
No
just dropped his dog.
Well, no, she was only an inch off the ground.
Someone call PETA.
Listen, now that's our documentary right there.
Dude, I'm telling you, Steve just dropped Daisy on her head. First of all, do you watch musicals, Bergeron? It sounded like you were just not into the fact that it wasn't the musical that you know.
It just didn't. I don't know. The previews just didn't grab me. Like like again, it's a very famous Broadway show, and it just didn't. I know they had a bunch of celebrities, different parts and stuff. It just didn't do it for me.
It just looked creepy.
Yeah. This looks awful. I'm not giving you a dime. I'm not watching this on HBO. I'm a no all the way around.
And Bill, do you want to sing with the Cats?
Well, actually, I've seen it live at the musical at the theater.
Right.
And I like it. I've heard everything I've heard about the movie is that it's god awful.
Yeah.
It's like the front runner for worst movie of the year, and
Did you see
agree with
Hamilton,
Scott. I don't
maybe?
think. I'm sorry.
Did you see Hamilton?
I have not. No.
Okay. I was curious.
I probably will at some point, but I haven't yet. Yeah, no.
All right.
I don't think it translates either.
This next one's like a classic Guy Ritchie, one of those fast-paced, kind of a lot of things going on, called The Gentleman. It's got the guy from Sons of Anarchy in it.
Charlie
I'm a no-
Hunnam or something?
Yeah, I'm a no on buying it, but I will definitely rent it when I get the chance. The Gentleman is a yes. Scott?
So that's what McConaughey, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, it was good. I liked it. Actually.
All right. So is that a yes, or are you just
Yeah. I'd watch it
thought
again.
Okay,
like
and Charles?
Those like Guy Ritchie, Cockney, Britishy movies can be pretty good. So I would check it out.
Yeah.
I mean, like you said, there's not a lot of content. It's not like you're watching sports. Yeah. So yeah, I'd check it out.
And BV?
Yeah, I liked the previews, so I've kind of got it on my little mental list to watch when it finally shows up in HBO. But I'm not gonna. Well, I don't rent or buy Blu-rays, so. But I will watch the movie.
So next we're gonna go to streaming again. One Charles already saw and Scott saw. So, but before then, Harley Quinn season 2. This is an animated show. It's on the DC app. I'm a no, and I'm the target audience for it. So I'm a no. Scott?
So no, I just don't. Like she's good as part of something. You know what I mean? Like Suicide Squad. She's good in her little funny parts and stuff. But I had no desire to see the movie either. So I just no way.
Steve
Charles?
every week puts some random shitty show or direct a Blu-ray comic book. This is terrible. Every week. This is because I got to do a podcast show
today, so
with my goddamn brother every week, and here we go. I'm a no. BV
and Bill.
No.
Yeah. Now next one's interesting because I guess WWE Films is a contract with Netflix now, and they are putting out The Big Show Show. This is a sitcom with The Big Show as a dad with his wife and 2 daughters. It looks terrible, so I'm a no. Scott?
Yeah, probably not, Steve. Probably not.
Didn't he lose like a bunch of weight? Didn't the Big Show like lean down a lot? Am I wrong in saying that? Yeah.
No, you're right.
Yeah, crazy. I give it a shot just to see how terrible of a train wreck it is. It's got to be better than Kareem and Coffee or whatever.
Kareem and Coffee.
And Bill?
Yeah, I won't rush to watch it, but if I'm bored and looking for something, I might give it a shot. But not very enthusiastic about it.
I watched that sitcom on Netflix with the fluffy guy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it was terrible, wasn't it?
Oh,
yeah.
it's terrible. Yeah. So the next one I didn't even know is out already. Two guys have already seen it. Coffee and Kareem with Ed Helms. I'm a big fat no after that review from you guys. Scott, are you a big yes?
Dude,
No, absolutely
dude,
not.
Netflix owes me a free month after that movie.
Yeah, it was so bad. Like I said, the best thing was
BV's a
seeing
yes.
strip bar at Palm Michigan.
Yeah, that was terrible. God, it was bad. What is his last one here? What do you got? BV's a no. Stop. What are you talking about?
I want to hear it officially.
No, go for it, BV.
Mine 9. This is a movie about 9 miners that get caught in a mine. Kind of loosely based on that that news report from a couple years ago.
Yeah.
It might not be bad.
Anyone in it? Anyone of note in it?
No, nobody I recognized. So, Scott, what do you think?
I'd be curious. I'd give a couple minutes, see what happens.
Charles?
If I'm gonna wait to see what other people say. Basically, that's my wait and see kind of show. If people are talking, it's pretty good. I'd check it out.
And BV.
No.
Just a
So
side note.
soft. No.
So gentle.
The velvety tones come from BV.
Podcast.
When Daisy was here, the one thing Daisy hates
Before you dropped on her head, yeah. Go
before I
ahead.
dropped it, she hates. You guys put that flea medicine on your dogs with the liquid that goes on their bath.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Daisy hates it. She goes ape shit every time you put it on her.
I tell you
She
what, though, it
rolls
works
around,
miracles.
around.
You got to admit, man, it is
Yeah,
not
it
like
works
when we were
good.
younger. Yeah, that stuff is fantastic.
I can't keep it on her though. She rolls on the carpet.
Do you
As soon
get
as I put it on.
the you get the multi kind with the heartworm and the flea treatment in it? You can get the two where it does both.
It's like $75. That's all.
What's that
it's
called again? It's called Century. Century, is that it?
Oh yeah, we used to do it for the boys. We used to get both. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, she hates it, but that's a side note. So, Charles, what's happening at UFC? Have they given up yet?
No, and that's what I was just talking about earlier. So they're one of the few sports that are still trying to hang in there, kind of a la or WWE style. But this UFC 249 is looking like a dumpster fire. We talked about it for a few weeks. I don't know why the UFC is insisting on doing it. You've already said that WrestleMania should be delayed. I think this UFC event should be delayed. Khabib is now officially out, even though there's a bunch of fighters calling him out because apparently in Russia they're allowing private jets to leave still. So what they're saying is he's being a wuss, basically, is what they're kind of coming at him about. I don't know. To me, it just seems ill-advised. I'm kind of more in that Bergeron camp of like, dude, you don't need two dudes. You know what I mean? Like, it's not setting the right thing, but we live in a world where the president said he didn't want to wear a mask after he told us all to just wear masks. So I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, so he's officially out of UFC 249. Rumor has it that the Irishman wants that fight. So we'll see. I'm compelled to get it if the Irishman's in it, but, you know, we'll check it out. But, yeah, that's where the UFC's at right now.
And they're still trying. So now let's go to some news, and this is some mobile telephone news here. Sprint and T-Mobile merged, and Sprint will be no longer. It'll just be part of T-Mobile now. Did anyone know about this beforehand?
I did. Yeah.
No.
That's only about 10 years in the making.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time.
Government had denied it a couple times already because of antitrust concerns. So
yeah.
So do we know the numbers? Like, will they? I mean, where will they be placed at as far as most users? Will they be above Verizon? Or?
Yeah, that's a good question.
I don't know.
I know Sprint service sucks still. I know that much. I mean, Sprint service is butt. So we'll see. How many billions of dollars was that transaction for, BB? You know? I mean, I'm sure that's crazy, the amount of money that for one cell phone company to buy the other out, it's got to cost a fortune.
There's no price in the article I saw, so I don't know. But does anyone here have T-Mobile or Sprint? I know I don't.
Heather has Boost, which is Sprint pay as you go kind of thing. It's terrible. Sprint service is awful. They don't put the money. I know firsthand from the infrastructure that got put into the hotel. So AT&T and Verizon and T-Mobile, ironically enough, paid to come in and put infrastructure in our building and in the airport. Sprint wouldn't do it. Sprint refused to put the money in. So, like, these guests would call down completely pissed that their Sprint service wouldn't work in the hotel. And we kept telling them, like, they don't want to pay to... And, like, all these cell phone services, from what I gather, can rent like space, if you will, from one another, but Sprint just refuses to do it. Sprint is a terrible company, man.
So here's the numbers. It's a $26 billion deal.
Wow.
Verizon has 150 million subscribers. AT&T is 141, and this will make these guys 100 million.
Oh, that's it together? Wow.
Yeah, so they'll be the third as far as this article looks like. It's
what's Bergeron? What do you got for service? Who you got?
Verizon. I've had Verizon since like 90.
Forever. It's a great service. BV, who you got?
Well, now I have AT&T, but I had T-Mobile for years, and then for a while I had Sprint because of BP had a connection with them, so I get a discount. I ended up switching to AT&T because they also have one with them too. Sprint was just
terrible,
horrible, and it always has been.
But so Verizon, I mean, for me personally, like if I go up north, it's the only thing. It's different than anybody else mentioned about AT&T because or Sprint or whatever. It feels like it gets the best service everywhere to me.
A lot of people love Verizon, but you pay that, man. Verizon's no joke, man.
Yeah.
Verizon you pay for. Steve, who do you got? Like Republic Wireless?
I got Boost Mobile now.
Oh, okay. He's got a tin
You laugh, but I had
tin can on a string.
I hate paying those prices.
No
Fuck them.
argument for me. It's just funny. Your cheapness is so on display when you talk cell phones. It's unbelievable.
Yes, it is. Right?
Steve had like Republic Wireless for 10 years.
The king of the $25 family plan.
He had to put his credit card in to use it every time.
Hey, it worked.
It was the cheapest shit on the planet. His wife used to get so pissed their shit didn't work at all.
She'd go to work and couldn't call me. She'd have to use the work phone.
It's only $5 a month, man.
I had 3 lines for $50. Where are you going to beat that?
Jesus.
All right, so anyways.
It worked in one spot in his house, dude, in the bathroom corner.
That tinfoil wrapped around it and stuff. Hey,
He got a Zach Morris phone free.
It had a giant car battery connected to it.
Oh, that's so good.
So how people are making up for sports games and sports jonesing is a lot of the NBA's doing it, and locally here in the Detroit Free Press, they've been doing a virtual replay of what would have been the Tigers season.
Wow.
So you could go on Twitch and watch a simulated game of MLB The Show of like the Tigers versus the Kansas City Royals if you're that desperate to watch some baseball. Now, I'm wondering how anybody over the age of 20 would even know what Twitch is.
Yeah.
Besides like us 4 morons.
We've talked about it before. Like watching esports is a tough watch, man. I get it if you can play in esports and stuff, but man, watching someone play a video game you could be playing is a tough watch.
These ones are just simulated. No one's playing. You just watch the simulation. So I don't even. That may be even worse. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, because there's no, upset. There's no, I don't know.
Yeah, it's brutal.
There's no reality to it. It's just it's playing off the stats, right?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And for the record, the Free Press has the Tigers at 2-2 right now. Just so you guys know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. BV's not buying that at all. You still playing MLB The Show every once in a while, BV? And I'm picking on them sticks.
Yeah. Playing when I have some free time to do it.
That's
I
cool.
played a little bit this morning.
Still hyped
you
on
know
it?
that the simulated racing that they're had been showing on TV, you can bet on that now.
Oh.
But those are actually drivers and simulators that are racing. Like they'll go in and they'll race the track they would be at that week.
Jesus,
Like these simulators that are like $40,000 a pop.
They're racing snails next week at Bergeron.
Bert
They
would
break
bet on
out
them.
frogs.
I'm sure it would.
Bert's like, I got Earnhardt
Second
Jr.
robots fighting each other soon again.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. We're bringing back Robot Wars.
So, do you guys think in the fall? Do you think we'll have football or not?
I think we're going to have empty stadiums. You're not going to pack 100,000 people into a stadium. College football is going to look completely different. I don't think it's going to happen.
So, my Michigan tickets, they pushed the payment date to like the middle of May. I don't know if they're going to do it. I mean, I don't know. I don't know.
But okay, so like let's say let's say there's still viruses infecting people in pockets, dude. Are you comfortable? I've been to enough college, dude. You're packed in there. Like, it just seems super sketchy to me. You're going to have 100,000 people sitting around with face masks and rubber gloves, dude? I don't think so.
It's going to be so weird. I don't know.
But how do you go? 100,000 people.
I mean,
it's crazy.
But they're gonna, like, if you want to keep the seats,
you got to lock
it
down.
Do?
Yeah. BV, what do you think? What do you think's gonna happen in the fall?
I'm not sure. It wouldn't surprise me to see them if we don't make a major comeback. It wouldn't surprise me at all to see them just cancel the season.
Yeah.
Like you're saying,
they canceled March Madness. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, I guess make good on the TV contract, so maybe I guess they could do it. But what about particularly with college? How about sending, college kids, on planes to fly across the country and stay in hotels? Yeah, I mean, is that, if you can't make that justification, or couldn't make the justification in the beginning of March, are you certain you can make it by August or September? That it's safe to do that?
Yeah.
Steve, you have a thought on it? What do you got, Steve?
Well, the man likes to fuck us, and the one thing I like in the world is football, so I will get fucked out of it.
Yeah.
Bill and Scott are familiar with the man. We all get fucked by him on occasion. It's a coming.
I just, so again, to your point, Charles, when will we feel comfortable, I guess?
Yeah.
I mean, that's going to be a weird fall.
My opinion is I don't think anyone's going to feel comfortable until you have a viable vaccine out in the world. I think like Steve described when he sneezed in the aisle and people started stabbing him with a broom. Until there's until there's a vaccine in this world, I'm not packing in no stadium. There ain't no way, man.
Yeah.
Are we at the point that we should start asking the question if it's ever going to go back completely to the way it was?
Yeah, you can't.
I don't
know. There's
so
so much money associated with college sports.
I'd like to think, but maybe.
Well, Bill, I think they're gonna have to do two routes, right? Like, one's gonna have to be preventative vaccine stuff, then one's gonna have to be curative.
Yeah.
If they did both of those, I think it'll clean up eventually. It ain't gonna happen overnight, right?
Yeah.
Jeez, the world.
But that's also assuming that this is all we're going to see.
Yeah, this is the one and done virus.
That this is going to be the one virus of the next, century.
Yeah. Well, but I think this is a Kickstarter as far as
response,
illuminating them. Yeah, illuminating their spot. Like, hey, we got to be able to turn this over and make this happen next time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, crazy. Yeah.
Well, as long as North Korea don't send up missiles, we're good.
Yeah, pap off.
Well, I mean, the governor of New York, I don't watch him all the time, but I watched one that he goes, look, this freaking N95 mask, these parts are pretty simple. The fact we can't manufacture is absurd. You know what I mean?
Well, when you shipped all our manufacturing over to China for years, what the fuck does he expect?
Yeah, no, I get it.
And then not whatever, but when did this virus hit the shores? In January? So you're in here rallying against. Meanwhile, you didn't check hospital stock for 3 months, and now you want to come in here and be like, "We got no ventilators, we got no masks." Where were you in February talking about this shit? You know what I mean? Instead, you want to yell at Trump, and I'm by no means a pro-Trump person, but there's a lot of blame to go around on a lot of people here, not just one person, and that's I think,
Well, like I said, I'm Bill. You're going dark. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Okay, look like you're going dark.
I don't know why.
The red guy's criticizing your dark.
Your video feed looks like shit, BB. Meanwhile, he's beat red.
You know what it is? It's because of the screen I have next on my screen.
I got you.
So
like I said before, if you're looking at trying to look at positive later effects or consequence of this, is you hope education gets better, as far as because it's going to be more electronically savvy. You hope that we can respond to stuff like this better too, right?
Yeah, in theory.
Hope.
But then you can't gut you can't gut departments that work on these vaccines all the time. We can't worry about going forward. It can't always be about shareholder price and bottom line stuff. At some point, there's a cost of the humanity that's attached to it. You know what I mean? But that's impossible to do when a CEO's pay is 90% based on the stock price. You're going to tell that CEO, hey, don't forget to worry about your stockpile. When they're like, you know what I'm worried about is the stock price. So it's crazy. The world we live in.
The effects are just going to be it's I don't know. I mean, like the uncertainty just this is the hard part. Right?
Let me ask the question though too here, Bergeron. So here you are. There's no guarantee there's school in the fall, right? There's no guarantee of that. So here you are considering and contemplating. You can't show houses. You might not have school in the fall, but you're contemplating, worrying about paying to hold your seat in Ann Arbor. You know what I mean? Like at some point, I got to question people's priorities. Yeah. To me, I get what you're doing, Bergeron. Like you're just trying to live your life, but like, what if the fall the world looks so different, and here you are, you gave the university $2,500 for the right to buy a seat.
Yeah,
and that's $2,200 overpriced.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And how much do you have to give the school to be able to get access to the tickets, or is it just easier?
So it's almost like if you took the seats themselves. I think I paid $3,000 for the seats. The what do they call it? The premium seating contribution is the same.
Yeah. So it's and that's tough. You know what I mean? Like you got to question, like I said, some of these universities. You know what I'm saying? Like so right now, the financial uncertainty that's sweeping across this land of the whole world is huge. And here's a university sending Bergeron an email like, "Hey, don't forget, you got to secure that seat, son." It's like it's crazy.
Well, but I think maybe Charles, the more I think about it as we're talking about it, maybe what will happen is they'll go, "Hey, we're going to cancel the season. If you had a seat last year, you're secured at this year."
You would hope.
Because I think the backlash would be crazy. Like I think that's the big thing about this. Anytime something negative happens, the backlash is crazy.
Sure.
Right?
Well, I mean, look what happened with like Planet Fitness, who charged people for the last month. People flipped out on that. People were flipping out at Disney World, charging people for their season passes still and stuff like that. But sometimes these corporations are tone deaf until someone catches them. So,
with college sports, though, people maintain those seats for decades and decades.
For generations. Like
generations.
Everyone around me, it's funny, where I sit, everyone around me within a seat or two has been there for 30 years.
I get
like
you.
The guys that sit in front of me, they fly from Texas for every game.
Sure.
Fly.
Okay.
It's crazy.
I would have to give more money to the university than I would ever be comfortable with to be able to get access to season tickets.
Well, yeah.
But can you guys?
No, I mean, even before all this started happening.
But that's what I'm saying. Like can you, in good conscience, not knowing what's going to happen in the fall, justify that? I think Bergeron's doing a calculated risk, is what I'm saying. Like Bergeron can't tell me right now that, number one, the real estate market's going to be okay in the fall, and number two, that schools are going to be in session. Because I'm married to an educator, and I tell her all the time, there's no guarantee that in the fall, you teachers are still on a payroll. There's no guarantee of that. At some point,
it's. But Charles, I guess here's the thing. Like I'm looking at it like this, and I don't know if you guys look at it this way. Is every day is new information. Sure. Every day is a lot of it's been shitty, right? It's been this bad thing happened, this bad thing. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. But it feels like we're kind of just walking in the dark every day. So until May whatever rolls around, I'm going to be like, well, we'll see, you know.
Yeah, but I take more of a cautious standpoint at this point. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, my family's doing okay, and paychecks are still coming in both of us. But like, I can't guarantee how long that's going to last. No one, to your point, no one knows how long this lasts. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and I would tell someone like yourself, Bergeron, like, yeah, it's cool to have tickets to U of M. I'd love tickets to the Irish every year, but like, right now, I would really question my ability to fork that kind of cash out. It'd be my thing.
Right. No. So, Charles, I'll tell you when it will start to becoming more. I have 2 more deals I got to close because you're allowed to close things out now. Sure. You can't go show. You can't. You get a list, but people can't see. So I have 2 more things to close out, and then it's kind of like I'm just stockpiling all that money. Just letting it sit there.
I know, but
don't know what's going to happen.
Yeah, you don't know, and it's scary time, and I just I don't. But anyway, Steve wants to talk about Ubisoft.
The other part too is think about the stimulus thing. I don't know about you guys.
Steve hates our depression.
I'm not getting a stimulus either. So
right, that's what I mean. But like, so it's like you just kind of go, oh, okay.
Yeah. What does the world's economy look like? But anyway, go ahead, Steve. Ubisoft's giving away free games.
Well, this kind of this goes with the coronavirus a little bit, I guess. Yeah. You can get some free free.ubisoft.com. The games change each week, but a lot of free trials and stuff. Free games are given away for people. if they want some games to play online.
And can I stop Steve for a second? I think a lot of companies, and one of the things that to be positive, like Steve's trying to remain, a lot of companies are doing good things. Like a lot of companies are giving free stuff. A lot of companies, like a lot of streaming services, Steve and BV touched on it earlier, are giving you a free couple months of streaming services. You said Sirius is giving stuff. Ubisoft's giving stuff. There's a lot of companies trying to do right by people, and that's
right. But don't you think that's a little calculated though too? Because now you have a captive audience, right?
Yeah, but I mean, they don't have to give it to you for free. You know what I mean?
Like I never would have thought of using Sirius Radio, but I just signed up the other day for it.
Yeah, but the price is right. It's not like they're charging you anything for it. You know what I mean? They don't have to do that for you.
As a subscriber, I would like to get mine free as well, but
you get none.
Pay your bills, BV.
So, Bill, if you dropped it, if you pulled it back up with like a different email address, could it be free or no?
I have no idea. I mean, I'm not worried about it enough.
No, I know. I'm just curious. That's
all. White privilege over here. Look at this guy.
I do know that I haven't been able to get, because I'm still right now paying for a vehicle that I've already turned in.
Oh.
So I haven't been able to be able to sit and wait long enough to get the the customer support on Sirius. So I've got a car that I turned in 2 weeks ago that I'm still paying for the Sirius on at the moment. The only reason I'm not really upset about it is I'm still in the free trial for my new car. So,
yeah.
Well, all right. Well, here Howard Stern's getting more money. So, anyways, I brought this next one up because both of our wives are big Harry Potter fans. There's a new Harry Potter website where you can go for quarantine kids and moms and dads, and they could do Harry Potter trivia and Harry Potter, all kinds of Harry Potter stuff. So there's that. Yeah. Well, our wives would argue with both of us, but
I have to read one every night to my daughter. I want to jump out of a window every time. If the coronavirus doesn't get me Harry Potter, I'm so sick of that shit.
And now, also on PS4, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, the campaign's remastered for $20. I will have a review of this because I went ahead and bought it. I'm a sucker for new video game stuff.
How much
right
you
now.
pay for it? What did it cost for?
It was $20.
Okay. $20.
But it's remastered, fully 4K and all that stuff, so I'll let you know how that looks. Now, I know no one here besides Charles and I are fans, but the show Superstore, the main star, American Ferrera, who has a weird name. Her name's Amy on the show. She's leaving the show. So what
is the show? What is it?
Superstore. It's on NBC on Thursdays. It's a comedy. It's like when Michael Scott, Steve Carell left The Office. Yeah. It's about equivalent to that, but she's not quite as funny as he was, but she's still the main driving force.
That show will continue on. It doesn't matter. They can lose Amy without a problem.
You think so?
Yes, I think so. I thought The Office didn't. Steve Carell's great. Don't get me wrong, but like post Steve Carell, The Office is still funny. Dwight's still on it. Gina will still be. You know what I mean? Or Dina rather will still be on Superstore. So it's still going to be good.
And to go back to your football guys' conversation, Billy Jackson on Facebook said that he believes there'll be empty arenas and all players will be tested every 15 minutes daily.
15 minutes? Jesus.
Yeah. Daily 15-minute tests.
Temperatures? Are we suddenly going to have enough tests?
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
Sick people now, but we're going to
so on a personal note, about a week, last weekend, I think, I didn't have a thermometer. I want to take my temperature.
Well, you look red right now. You might be hot.
Well, that's why. Because I'm a tannin. Couldn't find it. I went to 8 stores. Couldn't find one.
Well, but that's your problem, Bergeron. You waited until you had a temperature to realize you need a thermometer.
Well, I didn't. I just felt warm. But eventually I realized my mom had 2 of them, so I sterilized it and just used it. So.
But I'm just saying, like, at some point, do you have Tylenol in your house? I hope you at least got Tylenol.
But Charles, I don't get sick hardly ever. I just don't. It doesn't happen for me.
Well, we also don't get locked down because of a coronavirus ever either.
That's true. No, that's true.
I wanted to correct. He said daily tests that give results in 15 minutes.
Okay.
I had that little.
Okay. All right.
And he said they're being used in Detroit right now. So so it's a form of testing that gives you results in 15 minutes. I thought every 15 minutes. Boy, that's a lot of tests.
Every quarter line up for your test.
By the time the football season starts, that they'll have a
quick
sufficient number of tests.
So when will they decide? Do you think?
What, about the season?
Yeah.
They won't decide till the last minute.
August.
You think they're going to decide that early? I think they'll wait till later. Because when would be for opening weekend? Like when is like that?
full weekend of September.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
I think it's
first
going to
full
go
week of
deeper
September.
before they would call it. Would be my opinion. When did they
Well, it's
call the NC2A tournament? Does anyone know that fact at all?
A week before it started.
That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying. I think you're going to be tighter. I
But that
really
was things were still really fluid at that time too. That was right as everything was starting to hit hard. This is going to be more of a managed. Well, where are we after the long haul? And even if they do, I mean, figure the longer they wait to make the decision, you're still going to have some form of a training camp. Probably some.
They just throw them on the field and go, hey, see what happens.
Yeah, you could end up. I mean, maybe with like a really shortened season, something that's like 8 or 9 games,
Yeah.
possibly.
do. I don't know.
So now here's a question for everybody. Now, just for the record, this is Holly's third favorite holiday. She ranks
Is it
all her
really?
holidays.
Wait.
Yeah.
What's one and two?
Really?
Yeah.
Christmas and her birthday.
Oh Jesus! No one gives a shit about her birthday.
That's not a holiday.
Yeah.
I know. But so what is everyone doing
She
for
likes this
Easter?
better than Halloween?
Yes. She's not a big candy kid. She likes her gummy bears and stuff, but no, she's never been a fan of Halloween, really. She's not Bert's daughter. A little difference. So what is everyone doing for Easter? Scott, you're the most religious out of the four of us. What are you doing?
So, like my sister and I talked about this on the phone the other day. I will probably make something and go to my mom's and sit on her porch and kind of, she'll sit inside and just do it that way.
Wow. You're gonna sit on your mom's porch on Easter?
He's having
Wow.
Yeah.
porch.
Well, I was thinking like this.
No, I'm not saying you're wrong. It's just wow, what a world. I'm not questioning it. I was just wow, that's great.
Yeah, she just we're worried about her, man. She's been basically locked in her house, you know. And again, the mental aspect of this thing on older folks has got to be playing even worse than for us, you know.
Yeah. It's crazy though. It's crazy.
Yeah.
You're not doing it
stuff.
wrong.
Yeah.
It's crazy, man.
Yeah.
What a world. God damn. Like, don't open the door, Mom. I'll sit right here and just stare at you. Like, dude,
Yeah.
It's crazy.
What about you, Steve?
Me, I just bought a boneless turkey breast, frozen Jenny O frozen thing from Kroger. I'm gonna make that Sunday, and the three of us are just gonna stay here, and that's about
Turkey
it. With
on
some,
Easter is sacrilegious, dude.
well, it was on sale for $9.99. What do you want me to tell you?
Get that ham going, son. The ham.
I'm gonna hand out plastic eggs with hand sanitizer in them. So I got that.
Yeah,
going.
dude.
About that.
Hey, so I was walking the dog today, and one of the houses a couple blocks over has all the plastic eggs in the yard. My dog looked at it and he was like, he wanted to take a run over there to start tearing into that sucker. That's over here.
Wow. BV, what you got up for Easter? Yeah, what are you doing?
You know, we haven't even talked about it yet. You know, normally we would go to the in-laws, but I don't think we're gonna end up. You know, I don't see anything like going and sitting on their deck or something.
Are you gonna make ham and kale?
Ooh.
Yeah, well, that's the other problem.
Yeah.
Is trying to make an Easter dinner when you're married to a vegetarian is not the easiest thing in the world. So my guess is we'll probably just have a regular dinner, and it'll just
Yeah.
And
How
of
many
course-
people do you think will have a virtual Easter dinner like
That's
this?
what we're doing with the in-laws. Yeah, we're gonna do a weird they wanted us to Skype to them a little bit, and yeah, it's crazy. But I'll be breaking out the
Are
swine.
you gonna have Mr. Henson on Skype, Steve? That's what I want to know.
What?
Are you gonna have
What'd you
Easter dinner on Skype with Mr. Henson?
No. He can't
If
figure
you
that
do, I
out.
want you to call me.
He can't. He can barely figure out how to turn a computer on, let alone figure out Skype or anything.
This is Steve.
and,
I
I'm
got
not,
one question for you.
and I'm not going over there to show him how to do it either.
Title insurance.
Hey, Scott, are any of your works doing like virtual happy hours? Or virtual...
Yeah. So I
What
was
does
gonna
that
bring
mean?
it up too.
What does that mean?
Bunch of alcoholics drink online.
Oh, they get
Yeah,
together
just
like
seeing
in
each other.
on a Zoom thing and then drink?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
So I tell you what they're doing for real estate purposes. For real estate side is, we had a guy named Mike Ferry, who's like the biggest real estate trainer in the whole country, just do a Zoom thing with our office. Where normally that would cost you hundreds of dollars all day long. He just called our broker and we're big enough to where he gave us a whole training of what to say and what to do with this thing and stuff like that. So.
Yeah, we've had one every Friday afternoon, where it's within our internal team in our legal department where people say it's not very exciting. But
What do you guys drink? What does the BV drink?
I don't have any. I don't have any alcohol in the house. Well,
Diet Pepsi.
there is some alcohol in the house. No, I'm usually not drinking anything. I'm usually just.
You should go back to sugared pop while this thing is going on.
Yeah, let me just kill myself when I do that.
Wow.
Diabetes is like the number one thing that people are struggling with. First, I want you to juice up your beaties. What is wrong with that?
I'm just gonna open a bag of sugar and drink.
Listen,
God, I got a random. Ask you a random real estate
bring
question.
this meal out, or this dish, whatever you bring out, your weird things. It's always some crazy donut, this or something like that. Give me a break.
No, he eats like a bite though. Jesus Christ!
Yeah, I didn't even eat both Pop-Tarts last week. What were you gonna ask, Bill?
I was like, can I ask you a quick real estate question, Scott?
Yeah.
The counties in Metro Detroit, are they still recording fairly on time, or are you giving really delays recording deeds? And
Wayne County is always horrendous, Bill. It's like 6 months. It used to be 5 months to get it recorded back to you, but they're doing e-recording now. They've been doing that for about a year, I think. So now it's surprising. Like that part of it's good. The part where you get gummed up is the cities, like the city inspection for your certificate of occupancy. That's not happening anywhere. So you gotta, it's real touch and go. Like we have this huge addendum that has all this legal language in it about coronavirus this, and you gotta extend things out this, and all kinds of stuff like that.
Yeah, because I mean the my stuff's commercial, but the stuff I'm doing is out in like Washington, California.
Yeah.
And that's where we're having some significant delays in some counties, and then others are just business as usual. So
as far as recording,
yeah, just the county recorder's offices. Some allow e-file, some don't, and then some just they're running skeleton crews and delays, and it depends. And
so like I closed a couple last week, and I couldn't be. I had to be outside in my car. So it's they're definitely running on very tight ships. Yeah.
All right. We're running over 2 hours, so we're going to wrap up the podcast today. And I want to thank Scott Bergeron, of course, BV and Charles.
Hey.
You can catch us on Apple iTunes, fatguyslittlepodcast.com, Google Play, and iHeartRadio now. And I also like to thank everyone that listened on and watched on Facebook, including Billy Jackson and everybody else that was out there. And until next week, we'll catch you next time.
All right, boys. It was always a pleasure.